Greetings and welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of UC Weekly News. I'm your host, as always, David Danto, and I have an old friend on with me as our guest to talk about what's going on. Sam is now with Crestron. Sam, introduce yourself in case anybody doesn't know you.
Yeah, hello everyone. Again, my name's Sam Kennedy. I'm part of the marketing team here at Crestron. I've been in the UC industry over 25 years. I spent over 17 years at Polycom and Poly, which again, you and I worked really closely when I was there.
Yeah, so Sam, you and I worked together when I was a customer.
Yep.
Then we worked together as colleagues for a couple of years. And then you made a very difficult decision to sort of switch over and now work for Crestron, which is a terrific company I've worked with for years as well. So let's talk a little bit about your journey to begin with. How did you get into the collaboration industry?
Interesting. Yeah, it was my first job in the industry was January 1st, 1998. I got out of college, got a little small startup company selling Polycom and PictureTel gear. And then from there, a couple of smaller startups. And then I went to Wire One. Wire One became, or I actually went to Viewtech that became Wire One. Now, I left Wire One before BT went and acquired them, about maybe 6 months, a year after. So everyone remembers BT conferencing being a real player. I left right before that happened. I went to a few small startups. I ended up working for an end customer for about a year, which was a really amazing time. And then I became a sales engineer at Polycom and then slowly moved my way up inside of Polycom. Like I said, I was there for 17 years in a variety of roles. And then about almost 3 years, maybe a little like 2.5 years ago, I decided to leave Poly and came over to Crestron, and it's been really fun. It's a lot of the same customers, a lot of the same partners, so that's been very exciting. So I get to still stay close to a lot of the relationships that I've had. You know, slightly different family-owned company versus a publicly traded company, but it's been really fun.
Yeah. So, and one other point before we move on to that is that let's be completely honest here. Most of the people that we work with on the sell side of the industry don't have a clue how the technology works. They think it's magic. You plug it in, you turn it on, and they wouldn't understand what the definition of codec was if they tripped over one. You're the opposite of that. You and a few other people, I keep myself included, although not at your level, really understand how these things work to the point where we can troubleshoot them when they break. We understand how to get them set up. Was there any special training you did for that, or was it just an aptitude? Or because I know a lot of people relied on you for very heavy technical knowledge.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how I got here, right? If I think of that, right, I gave you my background, and it's all just maybe been in the right places at the right time. But one of the technology in many ways has gotten a lot easier, a lot to we think of. Again, you and I were working together 20 years ago, and there was a lot of that technology that there's an important call, right? We were all like just fingers, everything crossed to make sure that the ISDN lines didn't fail, or that T1 didn't go down. And so I think the goal of the industry, and it's been really fun to be a part of driving this, is that simplicity is really what's driven our industry, right? We've had very advanced technologies that enabled the solutions, but we've invested so heavily to really simplify, and it's been huge shifts in the industry, right? Those changes in order to get here have been very significant and very disruptive. Customers that spent millions of dollars or tens of millions of dollars on-prem infrastructure, and then have moved to now everything being in the cloud. And that evolution has really made it to a point where it's set the industry up for success. So, my little part that I've been part of to help us get there, I think, I've really strived to be an end customer advocate and really driving that simplicity. And so I think if anything that I've helped do is really make it simple, or even though there's a lot of all these advanced technologies that are at play in order to make all of this work, it all has to be transparent to the users. When they're in a call, when they're using these technologies, it has to be, press one button and it all just works. And I'm pretty proud that we've, together collectively, the industry has really we've changed the world in many ways. It's
Yeah,
exciting.
you reminded me. I was writing a blog a week ago that I still haven't published yet about when AV organizations inside enterprises used to say, if you're going to do a call outside the enterprise, you've got to give us 24 to 48 hours
Yeah.
notice to make sure that it would work.
One of the things that I think has really changed over with COVID is like white glove service, and white glove service still kind of exists. But you think of pre-COVID white glove service. A lot of especially the larger enterprises, white glove service was everywhere, and now it's just people aren't doing that anymore. They have the user's expectation is that I just walk in the room, and it has to be as simple to use for me. I just have to press my join button and away I go. And it's pretty amazing how the industry has shifted. There's these big shifts that have happened,
Yeah.
but this driving simplicity. A lot goes to Microsoft, Zoom, Cisco to drive consistency in their UI user interfaces. That I think has really helped up the whole experience for the industry. But it's this focus on simplicity that I think has enabled us to get away from things like white glove services or having to schedule 24 hours in advance.
Yeah, because most of the time they wouldn't work anyway. So,
Yeah.
all right, so that's a great way of segueing into where we are today. You are now working for Crestron. I consider myself, and I have to be careful when I say this because I'm pronouncing it carefully, family-oriented show. I've been tagged a FOC for years, which is a friend of Crestron. So I have that T-shirt and the magnet somewhere that say that, and the swirl, of course. I also had the pleasure of being able to know and work a couple of times with George Feldstein, who was an industry icon and a brilliant man. We all mourned his passing when he left. And you're now working for his son, right? For Dan.
Well, ultimately, yeah. So Dan is the CEO of Crestron, and so it's really exciting to be part of a family organization, and that the pride that we have is just some which you're just not going to find at a publicly traded company, right? It's embedded inside of the organization, right? Is that Dan has been around, and other members of his family have been around as part of this company. Crestron's an over 50-year-old company, again, built by George in his garage, literally. And again, the name Crestron, in fact, I didn't know this before, but it was where George started building products was in Crestville, New York. So that's where the company, and we're a couple of miles down the road is where our headquarters is. We do development there. We have we have our experience center there. We actually even do manufacturing about 5 minutes from there. So upstate New York, or that wouldn't be upstate New York, I guess it would be just across the border from New Jersey is where we have literally manufacturing facilities. So this real family oriented approach permeates throughout the organization, and it's really fun to be a part of.
What is your role there exactly?
So, I do lots of different things. So I run technical marketing, I run experience centers, part of product marketing, right? So I do many different parts of many different parts within marketing, as well as I work very closely with product management and sales and the rest of the organization. So, just like I've done for years, I'm involved in lots and lots of different activities here.
Which is something you can do at a relatively smaller firm. If you're at a large publicly traded organization, they kind of
Makes
want
it
to
more
pigeonhole you
difficult.
into doing one thing.
Yeah.
So that's good. And do you get out to see customers and
As
installations?
much as I see as many customers as I possibly can. I spend as much time either on an airplane going and visiting customers, or obviously over Teams, Zoom, WebEx, whatever it may be. So yeah, I spend as much time. I really pride myself on spending as much time with customers and partners, and understanding what are the real problems we're ultimately trying to solve for. Right, I'm very much the kind of person. It's not just about innovation for innovation's sake, or just because we can doesn't mean you should. So what are we really trying to solve for, and really focus our energy there. And so, but you have to understand, and you have to communicate with the users in order to be able to truly understand what they need. And so, yeah, I spend as much time as I can externally.
So I will see you and everybody else from Crestron in a few weeks. We have Infocom coming up, and you're definitely one of the stops. Going to be one of my busier Infocoms. As an analyst this year, I've got I think I might have 5 minutes left somewhere in a corner that I can sit down and take a breath. And if you really want me to say some nice things about your company, make sure there's a chair available that we can sit in for my meeting. But anyway, what can we expect without giving away any of the announcements you haven't made yet, assuming there are any? Well, what can we expect to see from Crestron at Infocom this year?
Well, as you know, and as I think most of the industry knows, Infocom is a very significant trade show for us. Crestron invests very heavily. I think we'll have one of the largest booths, if not the largest booth, at least in the West Hall.
Wait, hold on. Let's get that right. You're going to be in the Central Hall.
Central. I'm sorry. Thank you for creating that.
C8100, which is right by the entrance off of the Grand Corridor. Which is near a construction site this year, but that's just the way it is. So yes, you guys are where you usually are. First ones you see when you walk in.
Yeah, thank you for correcting me. I know that our trade show, we take this trade show very, very seriously. And so, which of course we should. But what you'll see from us is a continuous focus around driving experiences. So years ago, there was much more of a focus at Crestron for trade shows around just we make lots of different devices that solve lots of different problems, and we would just show black boxes on the wall. And there's always, of course, there's a time and place to show you what the inputs and outputs like that, and you'll see some of that. But we really emphasize a focus of applying a lot of these products and technologies. And so that what you'll see is more user experiences, more use cases of how people can apply a lot of these great products and innovations that we make. But I think some of the big focus areas that you'll see from us, we're really going to be emphasizing Crestron control. We think that that's a real significant need for users. While Microsoft, Zoom, Cisco, Google, they create amazing user interfaces that really help scale the industry. The ability for users or our partners or the end customers to be able to embed some level of control inside of those unified communications solutions really provides a lot more added value, right? Well, I have let's just say my Zoom user interface that enables all the capabilities for a Zoom room. If I have to have anything more controls, let's say I want to control the television, turn on and off the television, maybe have a cable box where I'm able to change the channels. I want to control the lighting, the shades, other peripherals in the room. I want to embed that inside of my Zoom user interface to make it very seamless. And so what we're going to show is a much more focus around control and all of the breadth that we do there, as well as many of the reiterating and showing many of the other newer products that we've launched. We have a set of new optical zoom cameras. We'll be showing our multi-camera solution with Automate.
Wait, hold on, time out. I do want to hear all that stuff, but let's actually put an exclamation on what you just said. So you've got customers out there now that in order to have their rooms operating, they've got the control that's been provided by either the hardware manufacturer or the platform, and they've got their separate room control, oftentimes a Crestron control. So they've got these two panels on the desk, and I've heard and you've heard from people, they hate that. Are you saying that that's going to be something you're going to kind of address and merge in your communication around Infocom this year?
Correct. Yeah. So that is definitely a challenge that we hear customers that either have two panels on the table or they're not able to provide some of their users those capabilities that control brings them. And one of the things that I've learned when I got to Crestron is that the answer is almost always yes. The answer is always yes when it comes to Crestron control. You can really program and do anything, and it can be very simplified. Some people just want to control, like I said, the television. Some people want to have a very high impact space where they want to control every aspect of the room and everything happening in between. And so the reality is we're able to bring that down. And like I said, to some customers, we're going to be able to remove one of the panels on the table. Other customers, they're going to be able to, who haven't had two panels, they've had just the panel to be able to control their Zoom room or their Google Meet. Now what we're doing is by bringing these capabilities into these different UC platforms, they're able to bring in all sorts of new abilities for these rooms. So they're able to bring to their users capabilities that they were never able to provide before. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, no, that is exciting, and I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in seeing some of those solutions at Infocom. Now you can go on. Tell us about some of the other stuff that we're
Well, of
seeing.
course, I appreciate that. I can't help myself. Obviously, you know me, I get really excited about all these technologies. But yeah, so we're going to be showing a lot of newer products that Crestron has been releasing over the last several months. We're getting a lot of new certifications. So we announced a new camera. I have so many props I can show. Like we have a bunch of new cameras. We're going to be showing these. We just got Zoom and Microsoft Teams room certification. We'll be showing FlexPods. We'll be showing, and one of them we'll be showing is our new Video Bar 70 that is now shipping with Zoom. So we're going to be demonstrating that one live.
Yeah, I love the idea of the Video Bar 70 because when I looked at it, it has, I mean, it's the only one that actually has four sensor elements on the front of it. It reminded me of the old, double blade, triple blade, quadruple blade, the old Saturday Night Live razor sketch where, the more blades, the better. So the more cameras, the better. You're the first one with four. I don't know who's going to come out with five next.
Well, there's a reason for the four. It's not just four for just because it's more, it's better, right? There is a specific reason as to why we've designed it this way. So it actually, again, it has four literal lenses. One of them is that more wide angle field. If you think of it's like 80 or 90, somewhere between 80 and 90, and that's going to get everyone that's relatively close. And then it has three little narrow fields. So these are 41-degree field of view cameras. They're all digital zoom. And so it gives you that ability by having such a narrow field. They're 41 degrees, so 1 degree of overlap. But what it allows is for someone who's 20, 30 feet away or 10 meters away, because it's so narrow, because the lens is so narrow, there's just a lot more pixel density when it's zooming in. It's never actually zooming, right? As you know, digital zoom just crops. And so it just gives you a lot more pixels, which will appear to be a higher quality video for someone further away. So we think that this design is going to help us significantly differentiate. And it is a crowded market, but we think with our relationship with Microsoft and Zoom and our differentiator with the cameras and that whole ecosystem that comes behind, and obviously we don't just sell the video bar, right? We sell lots of other solutions. We think that really sets us up in a good space for the video bar.
Well, we're definitely in an era right now where, the term I used is camera arrays, and take a look for the blog that's going to be titled that coming out shortly. But, the more cameras we put into the room, the more shots that are available, the better chance we have of getting somebody. So if you've got four elements in a single space, then regardless of the angles, which I'm assuming are optimized and terrific, you can have one camera on one person. When somebody else starts talking, that now gives you the ability in machine learning to transition to that any way you want. However, you've programmed it into the system, whether it's user controllable or engineer controllable, we'll get there. But, you've got a lot of people now starting to add more cameras to the room. That's only going to make a better experience.
Well, I mean, for us, that is multiple cameras in the room is definitely a sweet spot for us. As you know, we have Automate VX with our One Beyond solution, or our One Beyond solution with Automate VX, however you want to word that. But we can put multiple. I mean, that's one of the reasons we launched. I think Crestron has more multi-camera solutions out in the market, in customer deployed today than any other manufacturer. And yeah, it's very common that you would have two of these cameras per wall. Typically, you'd have like one, and then the other one would be inverted. And to your point, and with these cameras, they're all optical zoom, so I get that really high quality video. Where again, to your point, if I'm on a bar with a bunch of digital zoom cameras, it's still just cropping, right? It's still switching between lenses. With our Automate VX and with the new cameras, you're able to have an optical zoom camera, and you have those two cameras per wall, so that if someone's speaking on one side of the table and then the next person speaks, that second, you're not seeing the camera move, right? Those days are so long gone. I mean, you and I both remember when we used to watch the camera move and people would get all seasick. But the capabilities, especially around multi-camera, I think Crestron is by far leading the market. I think we have the highest end, the really most premium experience. That would be a trend that I do expect. I'm actually part of a panel at Infocom that's going to talk about just demystifying multi-cameras as this is the market itself. And I know I'm way off on a tangent here, but I can't help myself. There's these two approaches of an outside in, which is what Crestron does. We have cameras around the room versus this inside out, and the market's kind of going in two ways. I believe there's a place for both, but surely this outside in, what we provide with Automate VX, really is I think a significant, the highest quality experience for the end customers.
Yeah, I think we're getting to a point where these camera arrays, and I don't know if that's what I'm going to keep calling them. I don't know if the name's going to stick. You know, what we're doing now is we're using small visible cameras. We are eventually going to get to the point where we're using invisible cameras. Like I don't see the cameras on the Starship Enterprise when they're talking to the Klingons. There are no cameras there. The answer is there are. You just don't see them. They're stitching together small things, perhaps in the bezel. That's where I think we're going with this. So what we're having, you know, with center of table and side of room and all the rest of it, I think that's kind of a crutch for us to get there. It's the technology we can support today. So, but you are at the forefront, you know, at Crestron, and I think that's going to be interesting. And I can't wait to get the Video Bar 70 here on the Talking Points test bench, so we can really give it a once over and show everybody what.
Excited to have you. The only you make me think about some of the security aspects. Cameras everywhere also adds a security aspect of I don't necessarily always want to be on camera. And so therefore, again, with our optical zoom cameras, I have the ability when they're not in a call, the camera will actually flip around, and so I won't see it. So I do think that there is we're still haven't gotten, and nor should we, but this in between of providing capabilities but still feeling and providing security. I think that's still a real challenge. So yeah, I agree. I think eventually we'll get to this point where cameras are everywhere, but it's going to have to be balanced with a level of feeling secure.
I mean, and if we talk about it, if we think about it, really, cameras are already everywhere. They're on the notebook I bring into the room. They're on my smartphone. We just haven't figured out how to connect them all and create optimal shots. But we'll get there.
And quality shots, right? Like just the difference between the optical zoom camera I just showed and with the camera that's built into my laptop, that you just can't compare the two, right? Optical zoom is so much significantly better, but I mean, it's
certainly on a longer shot. Yeah, definitely something low. So quickly then, what else can we expect? Why should people stop and see Crestron at Infocom?
Well, I think you should stop and see, come to our booth. I think you'll see really all the products and experiences of Crestron pulling this all together. That really, I think we are at the forefront of unified communications and AV technology and pulling it all together in a way that no one else in the market is, right? That you see that there are unified communications players out there that solve certain room sizes. You see some of the AV players out there that provide some of the AV capabilities, but no one out in the industry pulls it all together as a single vendor and is able to solve all of these problems for our end customers. And again, you'll get to see the experiences of how we pull it together in some unique use cases, or not unique use cases, but very, I think, broad use cases. But also you'll see a lot of the products that enable that. So it should be worth definitely budget a little bit of your time. Our booth is not small, but I think you'll find it, if you are attending Infocom, it's really a must stop for anyone and everyone.
And without going down the rabbit hole, just quickly, the solutions that you're showing at Infocom this year and what we've been talking about, you're shipping them. They're all available.
Everything that we will be showing will be shipping or shippable within 30 days. It's like a rule that we have internally that if we're making an announcement, it has to be shipping within that 30 days. So everything is shipping. There is no lead time. I know we've had some challenges around lead times in the past. You won't see any of that right now. Across the board, every product that we have, I'm sure there's some little nuanced cases. I'm sure someone could come up with a single part number but in general, all the major product lines when it comes to NVX, Control, Flex, all Air Media, all the major product lines, it's within 30 days, if not a lot less. In many cases, it's overnight. But all the shipping lead times have dropped very significantly across the board for every product that we have, and we'll be showing it in Infocom.
Amen to finally closing the door on the pandemic. What an experience that was.
No kidding.
So Sam, if anybody wants to find out more about Crestron or reach out to you personally, how would you suggest they do that?
Well, of course, go to Crestron.com. We spend a lot of time on our website to make sure that it looks, we have all the data there. Of course, you can just look me up on LinkedIn or come see me at Infocom. And again, I encourage anyone to reach out to me if any questions or anything that I can help with. As I said, as we talked about earlier, I'm really focused on end customers and use cases and ultimately solving a lot of the big problems in the industry. So I look forward to talking to anyone and everyone.
Thank you very much, Sam. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for watching us every week. This is a UC Weekly News. I'm your host, David Danto. We will see you next week.